welcome to Intimate Talks with Jess. I am an astrologer. I also do social media marketing, and I host events to gather like-minded people together, usually on a spiritual journey of some sort or trying to get in tune with their most authentic self. I am doing a new thing again, like I always do, as I'm trying to go on the journey to figure out like what feels right, what is the most authentic for me. And I just love having talks with people because I like learning from people and I want to give people who maybe don't have, like I feel like that needs more attention focused on and they're just like interesting and I mean, I think everybody's interesting. So I just want to give people a space to talk, share their story and come on here and talk about a specific topic that aligns to them. And then of course I love astrology and I'm a spiritual girly, so I want to combine that too. So I'm going to start off by asking you questions, getting to know you first, then we're gonna go into your topic today. And then we're gonna pull up your astrology chart, and then I'll give you like a little mini reading, and it will be fun because then everyone can see like how her like how she aligns or how the guest aligns with their astrology. And it's always really cool to see the connections. And then I'll allow you to ask like a question if you like to afterwards. And now you can introduce yourself.
Hey, hi everybody. I am Renee. I don't even know. 30-year-old now. Into a lot of different things, but I enjoy being online and, creating stuff in a different space. So I'm just, a girl doing girly things. I
Yeah,
don't
I'll
even
do
know.
those things. Take us a little bit, take us a little bit back into like, okay, like you said, you're a girl who likes doing girly things. We love that. We love that. But give us a little more deets. Like, tell us, like I guess who was the younger version? Who was young Renee? And how has young Renee transitioned to this Renee? So you can say young Renee, like, before you were a teenager, then when were a teenager, how were you and what was your interest at that time? And then how are you now? And how have you changed? And yeah, we can start with that. And
Okay.
I'm keeping this like an hour and a half, so
Okay.
just a little condensed.
Okay. So young
Like where you're
Renee.
from, like it's two, like yeah.
Oh, everything. Okay. Okay, so I am from Toronto, Canada. I was born in Toronto. There's I don't even know how to explain it. So I was born in Toronto, but there's like a lot of smaller areas, so different cities. I won't bother saying them because not many people would even know them. But really, I'm from Toronto. I lived there for the first 9 years of my life, and then we moved to a different city, which is still kind of considered Toronto, but it's like one of the greater Toronto area cities. So then I grew up there for the rest of my life, but it's kind of more multicultural in a way. So I feel like my younger years were really experiencing different people from different walks of life because I've been around so many different types of people. We were in a lot of programs growing up. So we did summer camp, we did dance, gymnastics, swimming, skating. So there's just like a lot of different energies that I've always been around. Um, Through high school, I also went to like a pretty multicultural school. So we had people from Guyana, different parts of India, different parts of the Caribbean and Africa, lots of white people. So I'm just so interested in people in their different ways, like their different customs, traditions, and stuff like that. So through high school, I've just made friends with a lot of people, different people. And then going to university, I also made friends with a lot of different people, but just the study of people has always been interesting to me. So through all of the findings I've had in my earlier years, I really enjoyed sociology. So I actually did study sociology in school, where we learned about the study of people in groups. So it's just interesting to see how different people connect in different ways. And I've always just been really interested in that. Um, Otherwise, my other personal interests, girly interests, if you will, have been hair, I guess, since I was younger, just because I've had a really interesting hair journey. And then, like, later on in life, a little bit of makeup, just because I've seen my cousins and some friends like just get into makeup so early on. And my mom has always been a person that said, "Oh, you don't really need makeup. You don't even need this." But like, it's just something to accentuate your regular features. So I've always been interested in it, and like nails and that kind of stuff, just like little cutesy girly stuff has always been my my stuff that I enjoy.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know about the sociology.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's
that's cool. That's
yeah, we did. I started off wanting to do psychology. That's what I left high school thinking I was going to become a psychologist, but through school and through like the different classes I had to take, I just was more interested in sociology, so I did that instead. I liked criminology and legal studies, but sociology as a whole has just really been interesting. There's been a lot of classes like selected topics in criminology. Um, forgot what it was called. Maybe like the social network or something, but it's basically talking about the theory where everyone is related to everyone in like 6 degrees of separation or less. So
cool.
just like combining all like how people are so interconnected in such a different way. I don't know. If you get me talking about sociology, I feel like I'll talk about it for too much.
Yeah. Well,
But
well, for the gist of it, because I am very much an artsy person, I always say. So I break down. So sociology is pretty much the way that people connect in groups, or what?
yeah, yeah, the study of people within groups. So you could study them within families, you could study them within like the education system if like they have a similar class, you could study them in like a church setting or basically anything, but just like people and how they connect to other people
Mm,
rather than them being like psychology is more of them being like the individual
individual.
person. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then anthropology would be a little bit more like culture and that kind of stuff. So this is just like kind of more general, but just like people connecting to other people.
Wow, I never. Wow, that's sad that I've never known. I've heard of psychology, but yeah. Wow, that's so interesting. Because yeah, I wanted to be a psychologist too. Because I have been in. I'm very interested in the individual person and like the mind and more like mental health um
Yeah.
as well. So that is interesting. Wow, I didn't know that about you, but okay, that's cool. That's really cool. Okay, so. Now, I guess that's pretty much a good gist. So would you say that that is it where you're aiming to like do you want to do something with that and like what's your like plan as far as that, bro?
At first, I think growing up, we always had that, oh, you have to go to school, you got to go to school, school, school. So that was kind of where I wanted to go. I was contemplating between going through and going to law and becoming a lawyer, or like just going into the research side of it, which I'm kind of interested in both. But I don't know, I had a kind of weird school experience, although I do like the learning portion of it. I don't know if that's kind of where I want to put my interest. So more recently, and you already know, like I've been trying to go through social media, and it's still kind of giving me a little bit of that background because you still have to connect with people in different ways, but it's just a little bit different of a path. And I don't know, just enjoy creating, making videos, and just like bringing people into everyday life. So it's not so much of like the sociology heavy stuff, but at least I'm still like applying different things that I've learned in school to kind of relate and understand people. So that's kind of where I hope to be. I'm obviously just doing the regular adult life where we have a regular job that we may or may not like,
Mhm.
and just getting through. But I hope eventually I get to become like more of a social media presence and like just do that aspect, or even if like the background like social media manager or something like that. I don't know, I just find so much joy in that side of things, so I hope to get there.
Okay. Wow. So cool. I'm also friends with Renee. She has a special place in my heart because she's like one of my first one of the first followers that I like that has been consistent with supporting me and like followed me on my first Patreon and she knows she's been through she knows the behind the scenes part of like everything that I've been through. So I kind of view you more as like a friend now. And yeah, so it's just cool hearing this as like your friend too.
I
Like
know. Thank you.
okay, so now, okay, so I'll get you out of the hot seat for now. That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, so then we can talk about your like what you wanted to talk about today. What are you the most passionate about? As we kind of got a little bit of a gist of that,
Yeah.
and what
Yeah.
you want to bring to us? What do you want to discuss? This is it where we get intimate.
Yes. So the topic I wanted to talk about, and I feel like it kind of relates to my upbringing in childhood, and it's, I guess, relationships in general, but specifically friendships. And that's just because I feel that there's just been, I don't know, as a 30-year-old now, there's just been so many people that I've been connected to and disconnected from in life. And it's just always been so interesting just to see how people, maneuver different situations. Cause I think I'm kind of a person who enjoys, like, as much as it's uncomfortable, I enjoy like getting closure and understanding the other person's point of view in any situation. But I don't think everybody's like that. So sometimes you're kind of like, let's say it's a friendship ending, you're kind of left with all these question marks around it because the other person didn't actually talk to you. And I feel like in at times some situations like that could be avoided if people just communicated more. So I don't know, just friendships in general has always been such a interesting thing, and I feel like it's so powerful. It can be so powerful if it's used the right way. So it's always, I think, evolving and growing is always really cool, and understanding how things went wrong in other friendships can help you be a better friend in other future friendships. So I just think they're just a good topic, I think, in general.
Yeah, that definitely ties into the sociology for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what has been your experience throughout your life with friends and friendships? Have you like always found it easy to make friends and or like how yeah, take
Yeah.
the journey.
For me, I think it is easy to make friends. I think I am kind of an easy friend through like all these different programs and stuff that I've been in and different schools that I've gone to. I moved from, like I said, from Toronto to it's Brampton's the other city in the GTA. And that transition alone was different because in my initial school, I don't really know how I became friends with the friends that I had, but we just became like a group of girls that always hung out together and like we're just always together. And then moving to Brampton, I found that the like people that were there were all very paired up. So everyone's like, oh, this is my best friend, this is my best friend. And then you kind of like before I had a group versus now how are you one person trying to join these duos? It's really difficult. So that was interesting to navigate. I did end up finding people through similar bus routes, and some of them lived on my street. So it was easy to like connect eventually, but it was always something I felt a little bit out of place at times just because I know everyone had these longer histories with each other. And since I was always the new person, it felt interesting to try to like I don't know, break down their barriers to be able to even become friends with them. And
Mm.
then I think part of that was because when we moved, it was grade 4. So that's when I don't know how schools on your side works, but for us, the elementary ends at grade 5, and then we have middle school from 6 to 8.
Mhm.
So grade 4 is like the end of elementary, so everyone's kind of like cemented in the people that they know. So it's like, oh, hey guys, how do you navigate that? But I was really excited to go on to grade 6 because we were going to a different school. And then I was also in French immersion growing up. So we basically were learning French in school as well. But through that, each school we went to, they had other schools that like joined together. So my middle school was 3 different elementary schools coming together. So I was excited to meet new people because I'm like, okay, this is my chance. This is the time when I'm gonna, have different people now because it's new people and we're all kind of new rather than me being the new kid by myself. So I think that it did work in a way where I always kind of branched out and made friends separate than the friends that I started with. And also, my friends I started with also became friends with the people. So we did end up getting different groups as well. And then going through high school, again, we did the same thing where I'm pretty sure it was three different middle schools that went to the high school. So the same type of thing happened and just like opens up your network a little bit wider, which is always pretty interesting and fun. But yeah, I think in general, I am pretty easy to make friends because in all those different pockets, although it could take some struggle, I did get to find people. And to this day, like some of the people I knew in elementary school, I could still talk to this day, which is crazy because that was 2004. So
Mhm.
21 years for some people of being friends. And then middle school as well, same thing. High school as well, same thing. I graduated in 2012. So it's been a while of knowing some people in general. So yeah, I think ultimately I make friends easily.
Wow. Well, I'm sure as people like me who don't have that experience of like making friends easily, well, I feel like I can, but there's a lot of blocks. It's not, well, maybe that's why it's not easy. Well, it feels not easy. It feels like I have to literally go against because I would assume talking to you, you seem like you're more extroverted.
I don't know. Some
But I
people
see you,
think
I feel like you have an introverted tone to you, but then you
can
talk
be
about you being easy to make friends, and I feel like for you to be and then for you, for you to be
yeah,
around too many people and then being
yeah.
in groups, like that's a difference for me. Like I like groups, but like energetically, I do my best with one to one at a time.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if I'm like hosting, like if I'm in groups, I can do it, but there's a piece of me that feels like I'm not connecting with everybody on a deeper
Okay.
level. And then my energy gets drained easily. So maybe you're ambivert, maybe it's both. Why?
Maybe, yeah.
You
I
feel like
think
you recharge alone or when you're around people?
I think I'm kind of a little bit of both. I
Okay.
do think I fall a little bit, maybe a little lean a little bit more extrovert, but I'm not technical. I don't know. Sometimes I thought I was an introvert for the longest time because I always hear, "Oh, you're so quiet, you're so quiet." But just because I guess I just like introspection, so I
Yes.
just enjoy like seeing what's going on, being a
Yes.
part of it, but not always being the talker. But
Yes.
at the same time, I really do enjoy being in a group. Well, you already know, but on my mom's side, I'm an only child. So it's like interesting to see people since I didn't technically grow up with siblings. And then I have cousins, big family, friends. So like getting to connect with them, I'm like, okay, how do I didn't have people in the house to kind of like test your personality out, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. So I guess when I go to the groups, I like to be there because I like to kind of get that energy, like to
Mhm.
figure out how I can share this energy. And
Yes.
then I don't know, I guess I did become more extroverted because I'm really thinking back. I remember well, first I'll tell you a high school story. Um, Basically, it was grade 9, but it was like November, so school year already started. And then I was in a drama class, and then two new girls came around the same time. They're both Guyanese. And I don't know, at first I don't know who I talked to in that class, but I guess something drew me towards them. We played some game in drama class. So one of the girls, I guess I enjoyed her. So I was like, oh, hey, whatever, can I see your phone? And then I ended up putting my number in her phone and then texting
Oh.
her from
Uh-huh.
her phone, myself or whatever. So we had each other's numbers. And then I ended up calling her that same night or whatever. And then we ended up becoming really, really close friends throughout high school. And then she ended up going away to Asia for a bit, like in our adulthood, but she came back recently and now we're like pretty close friends still. And we remember she's like, oh yeah, you put your number. Sometimes I forget, I'm like, dang, I was really forward.
That is
So
certain. So
yeah,
we know who's the one when it comes to romantic making the
dang.
moves versus
Dang, I'm like, I guess it's me. I mean, my relationship, I kind of did the same thing. So I'm like, I guess I'm more extroverted than I initially thought. But
yeah.
sometimes I still think, I'm like, dang, am I extroverted? I don't know. So maybe I'm a little bit of both.
Well, that's why. So for you, do you feel the best when you're alone or when you're around people?
I think I feel the best when I'm around people. It depends on the person, but mostly
Yes, the right.
around people,
Yeah.
the right people.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you would rather be around people than be alone for majority of your time, like your time, or do you prefer to be alone, and then see people every now and then, or do you like how is that?
Based on my behavior, I would say I prefer to be around people, the right people,
Yes,
but I also do enjoy alone time.
got it.
Is that
Okay,
fair?
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
Now I'm really excited to see your astrology chart. I've never seen it. I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh. And by the way,
Yeah.
I am gonna guess before I'm gonna do a little guessy guess
Okay.
because you know it, right?
Yeah, for the most part, I know
Oh,
my big three for sure.
oh, okay, okay,
I
okay.
kind of think I know my big six,
Oh, okay.
but the other
I mean,
stuff,
like you've seen your chart.
yeah, I've seen the
Oh, okay,
chart.
okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. Wow. Okay, all right, so it's been easy for you to make friends. You usually seem like you're the more dominant person when it comes to like
I
if you
guess
want
so.
something, if you want a friend, you go get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Love
guess
that
so.
energy. I need that. I need that. Okay. Okay, so what would you say, like, because the biggest thing I feel like for people like me who want, because I have a weird relationship with friends. It's like I want friends, but then the effort of getting them and then keeping them is something that I don't really think about. And then I'm
Hmm.
like, oh shoot, okay, now this takes effort.
Yeah.
And I think yeah, I am an introvert. Although I do like being around people, I do like get like drained easily, and I have to,
Hmm.
And so it's like one part of me, like the idea of friendship sounds beautiful, but
Yeah.
it's like the idea of it, but I'm not realizing like everything that comes with it. And so I'm trying to learn to navigate that, and then finding the right friends, like you said, that's so important. And I love how you said that you were around different people from different cultures and backgrounds. Like that's something that I always like. Have a huge interest in that. That's one of the reasons why, I have a fear of flying, but I still want to travel and I really want to get myself
Yeah.
out of my comfort zone because I do want to connect with different people in different parts of
Yeah.
the world or different backgrounds and because I feel like that's how you learn and like grow and then you could share
Yeah.
everything. So then what would your advice be? Because I guess it's just like assertiveness, meaning like why do you think that you've had a lot of luck in making friends? And like what is okay, when you do people just come to you? Do you just have that aura? Or you just like when you see somebody, what do you do? Like how do you make that person to do?
Okay, so I think it's a little bit of both. like I make friends through shared spaces, if that makes sense. So a lot of my friends are from school, or I remember people from camp, or just like different pockets of the world you find them. So through work and other stuff like that. And then it's kind of shared experience for me as well. So I remember, well, for through school for the most part, especially in my earlier years, I was mostly finding Black friends, Caribbean friends, like people who connect with me based on our culture. So it's easy to become friends with them because they have shared stuff with me. So like my two friends from elementary, they're both Jamaican as well. They both only children as well. So we just all bonded in a way based on that experience and grew up together like sisters, our parent, well, their parents would say. And then my friends through high school, I think that's more when I started to kind of open my eyes to other cultures. So I became friends with this like girl from Ghana. The other friend I was telling you about, she's from Guyana, where her parents. All of these people are their parents. We're all Canadian, but our parents are all from different places. So then I didn't really go for anything in particular, but I guess just the different energies and people just connect in some way. You have a class together and you guys work together and something happens. And
Oh,
then,
okay.
yeah, I think that's kind of how it kind of starts.
Yeah.
And then through work, I ended up, my first job was at Canada's Wonderland. I don't know if you've heard of that place before, but it's an amusement park basically. So yeah, so that was like one of the biggest, like, I guess, culture things for me because it's an amusement park and we have two, but they're the ones, the smaller water parks. So it's like our bigger park for people to come to. So people who travel into Canada, they're always going to come through there. And then people who live there, of course, are coming, but there's only the one. So people are traveling far still because like where I lived in comparison to the park was about 30 minutes driving. And people will travel like an hour or 2 hours just to get there because there's not that many. So you get to see so many different people as well there. So I was seeing different cultures, and then I was working with a bunch of people from all over the place because we didn't necessarily live right beside it just to work there. We just worked there because it was like one of the things that people did. And that kind of job is something that you do at a certain time in your life. So I started at 16 years old, and a lot of my coworkers were also like in that range or a little bit older. So like basically late high school to early or maybe just college in general, people are working there. So people are your peers there. So it kind of felt as an extension of high school in a way, since everyone is so close in age and you just become like, you have these shared experiences at work. You're dealing with different, I was in admissions. So it's the front gate where people are taking tickets, paying for their tickets, toll booth. And every year I got promoted as well. So first year as a just a regular employee, I had all these experiences with all these guests coming in. Like sometimes they're yelling, sometimes they're doing stuff, and I look over to my coworker like, "Did you just? Yeah, okay." And then
Yeah.
you kind of like bounce your energy based on that. Like, yeah, that was crazy. Work is crazy. And then you end up kind of working with the same people over and over again. So it's easy to kind of get, I don't know, get on a common ground with someone. And then like through getting promoted as well, then you have like a smaller pool of people you can connect with because not everyone is on the level that you're on. So you kind of have to become friends with who you need to. So by the time as my third season, I became assistant supervisor, and I was 18 at the time, so it's pretty young to be a supervisor, and your employees are now still, some of your employees are your age, so it's like a little bit awkward. So there was another girl who was an assistant with me, and she was the exact same age as me, and then one girl who was a year older. So we became really close because like we're the youngest soups. So we kind of have to like have each other's backs because sometimes people are gonna look down on you based on your age. They're gonna think you're something, and even some like not only the employees, but also sometimes the guests come in because like I said, it's an amusement park, and the guests are not necessarily your age. Sometimes it's like a grown adult, like moms with their kids and big families and stuff. So you're trying to explain a policy to them, and they're like, "You're a kid. I don't care what you say.
Yeah.
I want to speak to the manager. I need to speak to an adult." They're trying to, like, demean you based on your age. So it was those two girls I'm talking about. One was from her parents are from Trinidad, and the other one was from Ecuador. But it didn't matter that we were not the same culture. It just mattered that we related through our ages because we experienced the work and the park in the same way based on our age. So I think mostly to make those friends, it's like whatever common ground, like whatever interest, whatever thing like connects you. And then it's just a bond that you have based on that for forever, basically. Because like one of the girls, I could still like I ended up moving to a city where she lived before. So she came to visit and we went to dinner and like it was just really good. So it's easy to like remember those moments that connected you and then move forward as like maybe we're not the same closeness as we were back then, but we still have that love for each other based on what we meant to each other in the moment that we needed each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, wow.
So,
That's
yeah.
deep. I love that though. I love that. Okay, so yeah, so that I understand, but breaking it down, meaning okay, because yeah, like everybody has people that they're at work with, and like I know for me, I've had people that I was at work with, and I was like, oh, this person could be a cool person to like
Yeah.
to hang out with outside of work. So for you,
Yeah.
how do you identify friends? When you say friends, do you mean like we just are whenever we're in these shared spaces, we're talking and we're having like we have a relationship? So they're my friend? Or is it like I get their number, we end up getting going out and doing stuff outside of our shared space? And if so, if that's yes, then how do you get from the first step, which is where everybody is, where it's like, oh, I have, I go to school, I like this person, I think they're
Yeah.
my friend, I'm at work. So how do you get past that part to actually like outside of taking it?
Yeah. So for me, it always starts off with that shared space, that shared interests. And to move forward, I guess you just have to move past the shared thing. So like let's say my latest work friend that I say I would have is my last job at I was working for Amazon, and I remember when I met her I was like instantly drawn to her, and then like we became friends. But through it's like at first I ended up offering her rides to work because she was a bus person and I didn't mind driving, and I was used to giving people rides before, and that's how I made friends before. So I didn't necessarily go out of my way to do it just for her to be my friend. But I think that extra step of like, okay, now I can give you rides. And then we obviously we're not only going to talk about work, we're going to talk about life, we're going to talk about other stuff. And that just like helped us become closer. So even now, that was 3 years ago now almost. And she still says like it's so crazy how we became like real friends. We're not just work friends. I'm like, yeah, it's just like you have that experience at work and then you connect about life with somebody for some reason. Like it's not everybody, of course. Like I'm not saying I go to every single person there. I'm like, yeah, let's be friends because that's crazy. But you have something that draws you to that
Yeah,
person and maybe it's mutual. And
yeah.
then you have to connect with life. For her, my life kind of blew up and she was the person to kind of like walk me through it. And it was like really meaningful to have somebody like that at the time. And I think that's what really like connected us. And it really helped me like, okay, yeah, she's more than just a person I want to see at work. She's like somebody I would like to have in my real life. And that's how I keep like bringing her like I'm gonna hang out with her later and it's gonna it's just like it's interesting, but it has to have that first connection for the shared space. And
Yeah.
I think you have to have a life connection too. And then I think that's when I could say, okay, yeah, this is somebody that I would want in my circle, in my orbit, I guess I
Yeah.
could say.
So when you decide that, so then you make the move and you say, "Hey, what do you do?" That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Because all that I got, click, check, check. Like but for me, it's like I think there's a fear of rejection.
Yeah.
I don't initiate. Obviously I know for me, but for so many people like me, you have somebody that even if I go to yoga class and I'm like, oh, I'm drawn to this girl because I feel that too. Everybody
Hmm.
feels that like, oh, this person seems like a really good person that I could hang out with like in real life outside of this shared space.
Yeah.
But for me, a lot of my life, I've been trying to get a little out past that. But I'm like, I'm not gonna make the first move. Like, what am I gonna go up to this person and be like, hey, can I get your number? Like that feels so vulnerable to me. So
Yeah.
that's probably why I've never made friends. And even as an adult, it's hard too because that feels vulnerable. That feels weird.
Yeah.
So then, how do you
Yeah.
help
Uh,
us? What do we do?
I hear you, and thinking about it, I'm just thinking like, wow, I'm really crazy for that because I in my I'm thinking of the different people in my life, and I'm really thinking like, wow, I think I'm really the one that goes out of my way. And I guess it takes that person to have that confidence
Yes,
to really, push it. Because I'm thinking I have an experience with a friend that I met in school, and I just remember seeing her in class, and she just had such a cool vibe to her. And I remember after class, she was just walking. I ran up and like, oh my gosh, like I gave her a compliment, and I never I don't think I go into these moments thinking, hey, let me just make a friend or like, let me just, get this person. But thinking back, I'm like, yeah, I think I am the one to really like initiate things. And I don't really go out of my way to have like the conversation, like, hey, do you think we could be friends? Like, that's a little weird. But I think just like taking that first step to kind of show that there's kindness in other people or like give them a compliment or like connect with somebody on a different level. I just like open up that door to people,
yes,
and maybe
yes.
I even did that with you, and that's how we
Yeah,
got
no,
to this
that's
point.
what I was trying to think, like, because I feel like you were, yeah, I definitely, because I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I think you did that, and that's why I was so open because of your like assertiveness and your openness to be nice without any expectation. You were just extra nicer and extra support
Yeah.
and consistent and also understanding of like there wasn't any pressure. And
Yeah.
for me as an Aquarius girl, I need like the freedom is important.
Yes.
And so like not everybody, so you maybe I'm like thinking maybe it is your energy. Like
Yeah, I
that,
think so. I think so because I'm thinking like I don't ever go into anything saying like, "Hey, this is what I want. This is what I need from you." Like it's not that serious, but at the same time, I feel really connected to people in different ways, and I like to experience people like on deeper levels. So if I am able to do that with a person, and then it's a mutual thing, of course, then I don't know, I just like people. So then
yeah.
I end up having them like they would also later maybe they're the one messaging me. But I think one like the biggest thing for me for to like maintain and I'm not saying I have to talk to every single person that I've ever connected to every single day. That's a lot. But I think we need to be open and communicating. So like I know everyone has their life stuff happening. So if I'm like, hey, what's up? How are you? And you're just not in the mood, I'm not gonna be like, oh my gosh, why didn't this person, But it would, I think, benefit people if they could also like, oh, I'm going through something right now, even if you don't want to explain it, just like sending that out. Because I just had a conversation with my cousin just today, actually, where she's trying to help her friend, and her friend doesn't, I guess, is going through whatever and is not really communicating back. And we've been like, that's weird, but like not in a way where we are mad about that. It's just that it just takes one thing, like, hey, this and this done. And we're like, oh, I get that. Okay, cool. Move on. Like, I think sometimes people get stuck in the fact that they have to like it's work, of course, but it shouldn't be work in a way that it's stressing you, like a friendship. So of course we have to put in energy. Like these are people's times, these are people's lives that we're a part of or not a part of. And I think if you are trying to be somewhere in that, you need to be open to it, and then also understanding. So I am open to having people come into my life, but if something's going on with them, I'm not going to hold them to it like, oh, whatever, something big like, oh, your mom's sick but you can't message me, like that's sounding entitled. And that's too much. Like, calm down, relax, adjust your expectations. And I just think putting people, like, being able to communicate with them and them communicating with you, and also putting them, like, having adjusting expectations based on what you need, I think is what's been helping me over the years.
Wow. I'm gonna need you to write a book. Okay. Like, oh
Please.
my gosh, you're articulating this like so well, even though it's a basic thing. But yeah, because for me, and that makes me think, and I'm gonna now I want to ask some more detailed things, but I just think like yes, having maintaining friendships, does take effort, but it shouldn't be like yeah, like you said, so much, so much weight.
Yeah.
But I think the problem for me and anybody else that like has a consistency problem, is because I don't ever want to show up in spaces or around people when I'm not doing well or 100%.
Yeah.
I think though I've learned growing up that I thought I was protecting other people, but really it was not. It was
Yeah.
seeing myself from everyone. And then I think there was a little dare I say, selfishness because I'm not being considerate of other people because I'm so consumed in what I'm going through and like I'm not good, so I can't even give you an explanation. I'm not good
Yeah.
right now. I can even text you. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
just wait until I'm okay, which could be weeks, months. And then when I'm okay, then I go and try to, talk to some people. And a lot of people are like, it's been how long now? I've been trying
Yeah.
to talk to you, but so after doing that for so long, you lose, not everybody has the energy for that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now as I'm starting to try to get better at that, I've had like lessons learned, especially over the past years where I've tried to make more efforts in having friends and I've tried to be better at like not taking forever, like just a little bit consistency. I'm not perfect, but
Hmm.
then I started seeing other people who are not consistent. And then it
Yeah.
started to then I was like, whoa, okay, now I'm starting to feel like some type of way. And is this
Yeah.
what people feel like when I'm not, So it's like such a learning
It
thing,
is.
which makes me think of like when it comes to communicating, how I don't even know if this is a really good like question because it could be general, but like how often like as far as to like responding back type of things. I feel like I see that a lot on social media.
Hmm.
Maybe because it's just I always be feeling like relating to the like sometimes taking a while to respond and stuff like
Hmm.
that, but also trying to be conscious of it. So, what do you feel? Because I feel like you're very open and understanding, but also like know the fine line between what's needed and what's like So,
Yeah.
like with your friend groups, how often and what do you think is like a good consistency to stay in touch
In
and
touch.
also connect outside of just communicating? So, like meeting.
Yeah. For me, I don't know if there's like a sweet spot for a number of times. I guess it just depends on the person and that relationship, like your personal relationship. So I personally find myself having people that I need to communicate with every day. So right now I have my mom and my boyfriend, of course, and then I have a cousin that I'm pretty close with, and we pretty much communicate every day. And it's actually two cousins I communicate every day, and both of them are in different ways. One of them, we do a shared project. We have a shared social media account, and we have to communicate based on the account because we're posting on the account pretty much every day. So we communicate about that. But of course, it also becomes we're communicating about life. We're communicating, this your daily tasks. And then my other cousin, we don't have anything like that. So I mean, we don't. oh, it's not been every single day, every always. I remember even this week that just passed, one of the days I didn't call her, and she's like, "Wow, not calling me today was crazy." She's
What?
saying it in a
Oh my
jokey,
God, that
jokey. I
was
know. She's saying it in a jokey way.
I know,
So I'm
I
just
know.
like, you're crazy
Yeah.
because first of all, the phone works two ways, ma'am. If you want to talk that bad, you could call me. And then secondly, like, sometimes I'm not feeling it either. And I think I've had a week this week where I just didn't really feel like communicating that much with people. And I don't know, for me, I think I need to have people like that. So I need to have some sort of consistency where I'm talking to somebody at least every day. It isn't necessarily the same person throughout my whole life. So I've had other daily people before, but there's just like has to be somebody. So that's
You're an extrovert.
I think so. I'm trying
That's
not to
your
be.
extroverted
I'm trying to
quality.
fight it.
'Cause I can't relate. Like, I think the
Yeah.
idea of it sounds great, but like if my energy, like I don't like it takes more energy for me to put out.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that's why I feel like extroverts, that is what recharges their energy,
yeah.
you know? So
You're gonna realize why I'm like this. And I saw this when you see my chart, and I was like, wow, that makes sense.
yeah, I know.
But
I feel
anyway.
like okay, yeah. I feel some
Yeah,
energy that
but I
okay.
think yeah, just having those people, at least somebody every day. But I just have a lot of shit that I'm like, this stupid thing happened. You just need to tell someone this stupid thing. I don't know
Yeah,
why. That's how I am. And then for the other people that you don't necessarily have to communicate with, it's just I think there's like people who you
girlfriend.
would say, yeah, but they're like close, but not like every day, but like you still need to be a part of their life, if that makes sense. So, you wouldn't like, let's say you think you're close friends with someone and then they just post they're pregnant. You're like, isn't this my friend?
Yeah.
What do you mean I'm finding out on social media? There's things that I I expect for people different, if that makes sense.
Yes,
So
that makes sense for sure.
yeah. So like my best friend,
Different people, you have
I
different
don't
relationships too.
yeah. So there's like whatever people have their daily stuff, they have their like situations they're going through, and that's okay. But I think there's people that I still expect if something is happening, if whatever, they can communicate. If I'm having a party, I could communicate. If we want to do a social event, stuff like that where you're more constant, but it's not necessarily daily.
Okay.
So I don't know. There's people in that category. And then there's people that I could see online and we just message based on that.
Yeah.
And that's okay too. And then there's people that you don't talk to, but you still got love for. And
Yeah.
that's okay too. I don't know. I just feel like I have them in like separate boxes. And as long as I have the daily or like close to daily people in my life often,
Mhm.
I'm okay. Like I could be fine with like the other people not like just oh I love this picture. I can't believe this person's doing this and that's cool, the social media people.
Yeah, yeah. So do you okay, so okay. So yeah, I mean I guess that is general because like if you want to have like a close friend or a best friend, and that's the thing with me I'm trying to navigate too with like friendships because it's like I'm a hypocrite when it comes to that because I'm starting to really as I started to talk to some people and try to get myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like some people are not like the consistencies are different.
Yeah.
And sometimes if, like when I'm trying to make extra effort and then well, I don't know. I just been feeling like I don't know, trying to navigate that. Okay, it's okay if people take however, but then it's like I do it sometimes too. But then I try to. I don't know. I just so I guess would you say and like what would be your ideal like for a close friend? Like is it like once a week you want to hear from them at least? Once every 2 weeks? Oh, it's okay like once a month we check in. Do you have that or you're not even you don't really you're not conscious of that. It doesn't matter for you.
uh I'm
Somebody that
not,
you really like type of,
yeah,
obviously you have like I mean friends, but those are like general friends. But
yeah,
someone who you're like,
close,
really,
yeah.
yeah,
I,
relate to or like,
Yeah, I have a few like I have a best friend. We used to be talking more daily, but she's a mom of two. So I'm not gonna hold her to messaging me back every single day if I know she's like her kids are still young.
yes.
So she has to deal with them. Of course, she's also married, she's also working. Like there's so many things. So I think it just depended on the season. So at one point we did message every single day, and then now it's not so every day. But I think I'm trying to think if we've gone weeks without messaging. I don't think it's been weeks. I feel like it's at least every week or so. But I think there's always something for us to talk about. I personally do not like the hey, how are you? What's going on? Like, I don't like those kind of conversations. So I don't have many of those conversations. So when
Like,
I
what do you
do,
mean?
I don't know. It's just it's boring. I don't want to talk about nothing. I told you I like to dig deep. So if we are
Oh,
talking, it's like actual things. Like I
oh, like
just
life stuff, really get into it, girl.
yeah.
My man's just cheating on me. And
Yes.
you're like, yes, give me
100%.
all the tea. Give me
Please. Like just make it good.
cut
So
through the BS, girl. What's going
like
on?
I don't want to hear, yeah, it's good. It's good. That's when I know we're not gonna get to that level.
Oh, to the surface
Like,
level.
I don't really like it. So I don't know. I feel like for her at least once a week, at least, probably more. Um, but like she's the type of person I can message her randomly about nothing and she'll just respond about, I could be like, yeah, I'm so sick at work today and I could have not talked to her for a couple of days and she would still be fine and help like if oh, did you need this? Blah blah blah. Like I guess that's how I knew that we're cemented in that like best friendship. Then I have another friend who the one from high school who I'm the one who like went out of my way to be her friend. And I guess through having times where we weren't as close, like when she was away in Asia, and then we got back close, I guess, in like 2020 when she came back through the pandemic. But we in high school we were daily friends, and then I guess now we're not daily friends. And I would still consider her one of my close friends or like close, like pretty close to best friend because when I do get to talk to her, I feel comfortable to be able to talk to her about everything that I need to, but it didn't need to be a daily thing. So I could say, like, she'll be like, hey, we usually go on hikes together? So that's our mutual thing. And she's like, oh, do you want to do a hike? And also, we both enjoy taking pictures and stuff. So if we're just doing that, we know that okay, yeah, we're gonna do get cute, we're gonna take pictures, and that's just the thing we're gonna do together. So through that experience of us like, oh, let's get ready, let's go here, let's do this, we are able to talk about whatever's going on. And I still feel connected to her, even though that friendship I could go maybe a few months. I think my birthday was in November. She messaged me for my birthday, but she went away. And then she said, do you have time? Our schedules are hard to align up as well. So she wanted to take me out. And then our date ended up, my birthday is November 24th, and our date ended up being December 29th, which is over a month later. And then we didn't end up going. And none of us were like, hey, why didn't this happen? Like we were both like, you know what, life's happening and I just don't feel like it anymore. Like, okay. And then we did make another day and I'm like, I just don't feel like it. But like well, I guess I have to talk to her, but personally, I think we're both good in a way. Like we understand that each other's needs, our
Mm.
mental health or whatever comes first. So just because we're not doing whatever that thing was, doesn't mean we're hating each other or mad at each other. Like it's okay. So right now she's in Trinidad for carnival and I'm liking her stuff. I'm enjoying it. I'm like, when she comes back, we'll do something. That's fine. Everything is okay. So I think it just depends on the person and how like I guess whatever is going on for them too. But I think the biggest thing is communicating because when I didn't feel like going to those things, I was just like, hey girl, I'm not feeling it today. And she's like, yeah, you know what? That's okay. And I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
That is so important, that part. That having understanding is and not having expectations and letting people that okay. And once again, no wonder you're such a like you can be friends with anybody, so it seems. Because you're
Yeah.
so understanding. Like for me, I'm still trying to navigate that, even though, like I said, I can be hypocritical sometimes. But for sometimes, I mean, like, I don't know. Yeah, anyways, I was gonna go into detail, but I realized it doesn't matter. But yeah, because I have learned that I am a little sensitive. So like people that I like and I try to put effort in, and then like they take like for a while to like
Yeah.
then or they flake out, and then it's like yeah, I do feel some type of way about that because I'm like, do you realize that I could just be an introvert? I don't have to do this. So the fact that I'm putting effort, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I think that's very, once again, I'm trying to get away from the selfish part of me. But so that is the thing. Having friends, you do have to have understanding and respect
Yeah.
their time and have boundaries. I think that's another thing that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, boundaries. I feel like it's huge and I'm so bad at it. For me, it's like it's almost black and white whether how if I love you and have an interest in you, um and especially yeah, and then I'm like too there's no boundaries. I'm too like yeah, like and
I
that has been
know. Yeah.
bad in the past for me because of so many reasons. Obviously, if you have lack of boundaries, but then when other people, I mean, yeah, it's just not healthy. And then other people have life stuff, so I also have to understand that. I'm like, well, you're not dropping your life because I'm ready for you right now. So I don't know. So I guess just hearing all of your nice and understanding, it's like, oh no, you're able to like sustain friendships and have so many friends because you're a very understanding friend. And like I said, it goes back to the no expectations and that's so freeing as somebody who's your friend, I would say. I mean, like I can
So,
think of why your other people, to have a friend who's like understanding of that.
yeah.
But so you're truly understanding, or have you ever had your feelings hurt?
I for sure have had my feelings hurt, but it's more, I don't really get like, okay, if I messaged you and it took like, okay, okay, personally, sometimes I just message and I'm just like, whatever, it's gone and it's done. So sometimes I kind of forget about it. So I don't feel that hurt. But let's say it was something actually important and I was like, what the heck? Where's the response? I would be a little bit like, what? What's going on? But I'm also understanding and compassionate. So I understand people are going through things. But I think I try to communicate with the people that I do communicate with that, hey, like I'm okay with you having your own stuff going on, but just let me know. So I had a recent new relationship that I was building and that person was a little bit more flaky than I was used to, and at first it was like a daily thing. So I think once you have like a daily type of friendship with someone, it becomes so ingrained to you to be daily. So as soon as like that person is off and they're trying to like
Yeah.
disappear,
Yeah.
it's noticeable because you are daily people, you know?
Um,
So I just communicated with like I understood that something's going on, they can't talk anymore. That's cool with me. I'm just like, hey, it works both ways. Like if we're daily and you're gone,
yeah.
I'm gonna notice and feel it. And it changes my routine too, right? I'm used to that communication. So
Oh,
now you being gone affected me. And I'm not saying you can't be gone, but just say, hey, um,
I have
stuff
to
are
see
are going on.
Yeah.
Like I'm not so maybe I don't know if self-centered is the right word. I'm not so like stuck on myself where I'm thinking that I should be everyone's center.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't think I am. So that's okay. But I personally just need people to communicate whatever, even if it's just I can't talk right now or I just don't feel up to this right now,
Yeah.
that's okay with me. So I don't know. I guess I just try to manage myself, but the I don't think my hurt from friendships comes from that kind of stuff. My hurt is more like actual people like disrespecting in a different type of
Uh,
way. That's where I like that's what affects me more. Like this kind of just navigating, like I'm okay. I'm even not I don't even go out of my way. Like let's say I messaged you and then you posted something online but never responded. I
I do
don't
that all the time.
I'm not I
Sorry,
don't know.
but in my defense, I say
No,
this is work,
not you,
okay?
not you.
I know, that's my own thing. Cause yeah, okay, anyways, go ahead.
No, I swear, no, I don't know. I
But
don't know
yes,
my,
that happens a lot with people. It's just people.
yeah, I don't know if it's just me, if I don't know what it is about me, but it doesn't really bother me too much. As long as we are cordial, as long as there's no like weird vibes, bad
Yes.
vibes, that's when I'm gonna feel some type of way. But
Uh,
if it was just genuine and you know, like life is happening, then life is happening. Life's happening for me too. And I'm like, I can understand that.
wow.
But as soon as it's like actually like something is wrong, and that's what I'm talking about at the beginning. I said, I need closure.
Yeah.
I need you to tell me that because
Oh,
that's when it will affect me because I'm like, oh my God, they said this and I'm an overthinker. So I'm like, what's going on? You know, like, and then I'll be sending it to the people like, so what do you think about this? You know, and then let's say, I don't know, that's a whole different conversation,
oh yeah,
but
yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot there. That's when I would start to feel it. But if
Yeah.
it's just like a regular life thing, live your life, girl. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
So everyone, be understanding if you're trying to have friends. If they don't text you back immediately, don't ever, because it feels like for me, like you would never stop being someone's friend just because they've taken for a long time to respond. I mean, like even
No.
months, even if they've come back like a month later, you will still continue to have the like, yeah, you
Yeah.
have the feelings, but you're never gonna be like, I'm gonna stop being their friend because they
I
just
think it depends on I guess how long. So I do have a friend that we were fine and we weren't daily people, but we did catch up. And then I it was kind of both of us like reaching out to do that catch up thing. And then there was times where I would reach out and then no response. And then randomly like I don't know. Maybe this is also a thing you gotta have conversations with these people, but sometimes people will like think higher of you or then they explain to you. So like you could think they don't even care like that because she never responds.
that's
But
me
like
all the time. I think that all the time. It's not good, but I
yeah. So I did go through that a little bit with that friend. And then I remember like there's just a situation with like other people involved, but they were messaging me to like contact her. And I'm thinking, why would they message me? Like, I don't even talk to this girl. That's crazy. And I did like forward the messages to her and she responded. And every time it's like, oh my gosh, like it's been so long. And you know, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, like at first I'm open. Yeah, let's, you know, even it doesn't even have to be a meetup every time that it's been a while. It could just be a phone call. It could, you know, it could be anything. And I went out of my way to say, hey, yeah, let's do this, let's do this. And every time it's like something happens or someone gets canceled, and after a while she just stopped responding. And that was one thing. That's where it gets to where I got a little hurt. I was like, dang. So I actually had to take the initiative this year and decided that I guess we're no longer friends. Not that I don't have love for her anymore, but I just can't be putting myself out there so much for somebody who doesn't seem to want to care. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move forward, move on. And I had to delete her number. So I don't,
oh.
yeah, that's where it got to. But that just happened this year actually. And we were good for a while. And I like I wouldn't say that I'm at the point where I hate her. I don't. If it came back around and we talked about the stuff, then I would be
Yeah,
open. But
if she reached out to you and was like, "Hey," I feel like you would be like so open and like, I
I
feel like
would. I would. I'm a
that's what
sucker.
you said in your heart.
I'm
Yeah.
a sucker. I would, but I had to like think about my own self in that too, and I had to realize that it's not always that I need to put myself out there. And like it looks so stupid. Like I'm literally messaging you, you don't respond ever.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
all one-sided conversations is dumb.
Like
So I'm
how
like, you know what?
often would you say like you did that?
Message?
Yeah, how
Not I don't
like
think
how
that
many messages did you have until was it like five, more than five?
okay, I think the last time I we actually talked was maybe like 2022 or
Oh, okay,
2023.
yeah. Oh wow. So you have
Yeah.
oh wow, so you have oh wow.
And then
Okay.
so one of those, maybe 2022, maybe 2022 was like an actual conversation, and then it became like, okay, let me just say happy birthday. So
Uh,
then I said happy birthday, but it was after last year. I didn't get back a happy birthday. And
uh,
actually I sent a happy birthday and no response. And that was like, you're not okay. I know you, I wouldn't say celebrity, but like you have a bigger platform. You have more people who try to message and stuff like that. So that's why I could give more grace. But I'm thinking like we're all regular people at the end of the day. So I'm like, ain't nobody no celebrity. If someone says happy birthday, you need to be saying thank you. Like it's just thank you. Even TY. That would be okay too. So when I didn't get a thank you, that was last year, was like, that's weird. And then my birthday came and left and no nothing. So that's why I said, you know what? Let me just
yeah.
delete the number and move on. But weirdly enough, sometimes this group of people, these whatever, they will like interact with me online. And I always wonder like, why the hell are you interacting online? But like you can't like we have each other's
Oh
numbers.
yeah.
We were at least, but I'm not at the point where even with that situation, I'm not holding anybody against whatever happened or whatever's going on is fine. That's just the thing I need closure about because if you just don't want to be friends, just let me know and I can move on.
Yeah.
But if you like the back and forth is a little bit awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
that says a lot. Yeah, that's good. That's better than me because for me, you don't respond once after my first message. Oh, okay. Bye.
I know
Bye.
that. I felt
It's
so
not even out
weird.
of meanness. It's just I am a sensitive person, so I'm like, and I just assume if you not responding to me, you must not you must don't want to be my friend anymore.
Yeah.
And for me, yeah, I don't want to force someone. Like I feel like if people care, they would make the effort. Well,
Yeah.
again,
It's a
I feel
hard
like
it's
that.
hard. It's hard. Honestly. That one it does hurt me a little bit. I'll say that. I
Yeah.
feel weird saying it because I'm like,
No,
I hope
I
they
can
don't see
tell.
this.
I can tell, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, that's normal. You have feelings. You're entitled to have feelings.
Yeah. I just am like, oh gosh, don't want people to know that I have the feelings, but I do. It does.
Ah, so you don't want people to know you have feelings. So you don't like to show your sensitive side? I feel like-
I I don't love the vulnerability
Yeah,
stuff.
definitely.
Yeah, I don't like I do and I have people who share in the vulnerability and I enjoy like going back and forth a little, but it's just like it feels a little embarrassing sometimes like oh
Yeah,
dang like what like if I like I said at the beginning, I don't think friendships should be hard. I don't think they should be stressful. So I don't it would be easy to just say, hey, this is what's going on. And that's why I've been kind of MIA and I'd be like, oh, I get that. Cool. But it's like when it feels where I have to do like I'm already doing a lot. Obviously, we discussed that. So if I have to do even more than this,
mhm.
plus you're still not responsive to it, it's just like, okay, now I'm just a fool. Like now I'm just stupid. So that's why I had to just, take the step back. So the deleting, I didn't really need to delete, but it's just like a
I
sign in
think
my
that's
head.
cool for you. Yeah.
Yeah, to just, this is done. You
Yeah.
don't need to do that anymore. So
Yeah, because it's like you're cutting that tie. Because I know I've had to do that in the past of like, okay, this is not really working. And if this person is being weird or not really responding, I'm gonna still have energy. And then it's gonna be a while. For me, I do like closure is important for me too. But if I'm not feeling like I'm gonna get it, well, actually, that's not. Well, no, actually, I don't really care about the. I don't really need to know. Like, if you just don't, or if you're not interested, okay, bye. Like, I don't really need to know
dang.
why. Like,
Yeah.
I need to know that you're not interested. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want it to be like a miscommunication because I know that sometimes too because you may be going through stuff, blah blah blah. But it will eat me alive, and for me, like that has been my thing of like cutting that cord. Like, all right, just move on. I have to delete the number because just seeing that there, it is just I totally relate with that, and I think that's
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wow. Wow, wow. Okay, okay, okay. I'm learning a lot here. I'm learning a lot. Where are we with time? Are we like way past our time at this point? Because I just took
I don't even know anymore.
where does it even say the time here? Oh, I don't know. Anyways, all right. So I think okay. So is there anything else that you want to brush on about like friendships? Did we kind of talk about everything? So
I
we
think we did
round
everything.
about everything. Um, going, I think, okay, the last thing I guess I just want to wrap up about the friendships is making friends as an adult, because I feel like
Yeah,
you have I mean, how many friends would you say that you have?
a lot, I guess.
Yeah,
Most of the friends are like long-term friends. I
yes,
think the
exactly.
most recent friend that I made was as an adult for sure because it was only in like 2022. Um, but yeah, that's like I think that's the newest friendship that I have. Everybody else has been like 10 plus years for
And where
sure.
did you meet the 2022 person?
That one was through work.
Oh,
That
that
was
was
a
through
work
work.
friend, yeah.
Okay.
But other like in general, to make friends as an adult, I'd say like if I did a class, like those type of things. I don't I don't know, I don't really just like randomly on the street meet people. Just I had to be at some sort of place. So work, classes, maybe a friend through a friend or through a family, like that way. Like there's just some sort of mutual connection in some way. And that's where the cycle starts, where you have the
Mm,
interest, have the connection, and then take it from wherever to wherever. The only one that's tricky though is mutuals. It's hard to take it from your connection to real friends but just because it depends on your relationship with the person you met that person through,
mm,
because some people are weird about their friends. They don't want you to just like randomly,
yeah. Oh no,
take
for
the
sure.
yeah. So that one's hard, but other than that, like if you meet them on your own through work or school or class or wherever, I think you just have to be intentional
Oh,
about what your wants are. I think now that we're all adults and we all have our own lives and we all have things going on, we just have to communicate what's happening with each other and then also manage our expectations. I don't know if it necessarily always needs to be like a conversation, but at least okay, this is where this person is, and then they'll do what they do and show you what you need to know, I think, for the most part.
but you shouldn't be putting in more effort and getting nothing for a long extended. That's where the cutoff should be.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for sure. If like for in general, if the person if you feel something, usually for me, if I did feel something for somebody to like bring it to be a friendship or anything, it would feel mutual. I usually haven't gone through something where I wanted to be somebody's friend and they didn't want to be mine. That would be hurtful. I understand. So it usually does feel like it's going to be a mutual thing, but I don't think I could always be the one to put in information the sorry, not information, put in the what am
Effort.
I what, effort. Yes, effort. Because like I am okay. I've come to terms with the fact that I would initiate it for the most part, but I the reason I've also maintained all these friendships is because they've at some point have reciprocated it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been the one for all these years, for all these people trying and trying and trying and trying. And that's why for the one person that I guess I had to cut off, I wouldn't say I cut them off. I would just say I would probably say they cut me off, if anything. But for that one person, the only reason why I'm at this point is because it's not reciprocated. And when
Mm.
it's not reciprocal,
Yeah.
that's when it feels really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has to be, and I'm just basically, it doesn't necessarily always have to be a conversation. You would feel and understand where the other person puts you to be able to kind of manage. So it doesn't necessarily need to be daily, it doesn't even need to be monthly, weekly, whatever. You just kind of it based on both of the people in this thing and see kind of where they lie. So yeah.
Yeah. And then having friends, I think I like the idea of having different friends, multiple friends. Because for me, like, so if you are a person that actually needs that like daily or week or every other day or weekly,
Yeah.
I think the problem that I've come into place with sometimes is well, it's interesting because I had a um something with a friend recently that I didn't know this now, but I, there's a expectations that you have
Yeah. Yeah.
that you don't realize it, but if I think of my ideal friendship, I don't know, it just changes. But I know currently, like, let's say I have a current friend that I um started talking to again, and I feel like for me, like talking every other day. Well, yeah, yeah, like every other if I text a person one day and then they like the next day or the next couple of days they text me, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Even but even like once a week, like I can do that. But
Yeah.
like I start to lose interest, like personally for me, or
Yeah.
I put you outside because we have levels of friends.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have your daily or your close friends. You have your like more like outskirt friends,
Whatever. Yeah.
and I put you there. So therefore, my like effort that I'm gonna put in on like because it already takes me a lot of effort to be conscious,
Yeah.
like responding is gonna be like I'm not gonna consider it. So I'll get to you when I get to you, type of thing.
Yeah.
And unless I know, like, okay, and I've developed a trust, because for me, I don't trust easily. I've had that's something I have to navigate through. So it's like if I decide to put time into you, and it starts to get more consistent, there's a like click in my head, like I actually want to take this person seriously, and they're not
Mm-hmm.
just like on the outskirt of people. So
Mm-hmm.
this friend that I have, I'm starting to feel like she's the type of person that needs she likes to respond when she wants to respond.
Mm.
I should have respect for that because she's even said that told that to me. That like yeah, like I want to be able, or me and my other friends, we just like we'll send something to each other and then we'll just respond when we like want to. And for me, I'm like, do okay, am I gonna at first I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine, I can deal with that. But I'm starting to feel like
You don't like it.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
it's like it's not consistent.
Yeah.
You, like you said, like when you start getting used to, especially as a person who hasn't had like,
Yeah.
I'm not like how you are, a person who's used to having a lot of friends.
Hmm.
So when I actually open myself up as a sensitive girly to do that, and then I get used to this, oh, this feels nice. Like, oh, talking to like a girl, like, because I have a boyfriend and, for so long, but now I'm starting to get open myself up to feminine energy, da da da. And
Yeah.
we start to get used, and then they just were like, well, I'm gonna text you when I want to text you. Well, it's like if I texted you or when I felt like it or whatever the freak.
Yeah.
If that was the case, I would not even I would just, but I'm trying to
Yeah.
think and I feel like da da da. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm gonna wrap it up, is I think instead of, my thing is, and this is where I had a previous talk with a friend, is like when you have a certain expectation, I personally feel like it's not fair to like for me to go to the girl and be like, hey, I think you should, I would never do this, but it would be like, I don't feel good that you're not texting me back enough. And
Yeah.
so, like, the spiteful part of me wants to be like, all right, then I'm not going to put the effort in as much and I'm going to just text you when I feel like it. And actually, you're out of my bracket of like a trusting, like a that
Yeah.
close of a friend. So for me, I'm like, all right, then maybe I should just find a friend another friend, not to say we can't be friends, but you're going to be more of a distant friend, and then I'm gonna just find a friend who matches my kind of energy.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
fair, or should I go to the friend and be like, hey, this is how I feel, and but I don't feel like that's right, because it's like
Yeah.
that's your true energy. I don't want you to feel like you have to mold it, but then in the previous friendships that I've had this with a friend, they were like, well, you should just tell me, and then I could make the effort to do that. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
understand those two.
It's really a hard thing to navigate, I'll say, because it's like you don't why I keep saying friendship should be easy. It always feels a little uncomfortable for us because we're so used to putting in so much effort into our relationships with men, right? Or whatever partner, whoever you're dealing with romantically. We're interested in putting that, like, let's say this was whatever interested romantic partner, I feel like we would be so easy to just say, hey, this make, it would be not necessarily easy, but just we would want to do it because
Yeah.
it's a romantic partner. But when
Mhm.
it's a platonic friendship or platonic relationship, it's almost like we can't put in that effort because we shouldn't have to, you
Mm.
know? You feel like it should just happen and we don't need to communicate things like that because it's not necessary. But I think we have to kind of train people
Mhm.
to treat us the way we want to be treated.
Mhm.
So if it's not your wish for her to respond whenever she feels like it, maybe her other friends are comfortable with that. But if you as a person or you're not comfortable, I personally think it'd be better to at least communicate it the first time. And then if that's something that she can't, change, that's just who she is as a person, then manage your expectations and okay, that's fine. Put her where you need to put her for yourself and she'll put you wherever and then move on. But I think initially in general, people should try at least to like say, hey, like this, I don't like this. And then the other person could take it the way they take it and move on from there. Just because I think platonic friendships are important as well. And the only way to get back what you want is by telling people. Like that's the same thing about if you need help and nobody knows you need help, you're going to feel like you're drowning because you didn't tell anybody you need help. You're drowning and I can't give you the lifeboat because I don't know that you're drowning. So I just think like I know it's really hard and uncomfortable, but at least that
Yeah,
first
definitely
time,
relatable. Hmm.
yeah, it's like for me too. And a lot of times, like, oh man, the amount of times that I've been like crying to friends about like it just feels stupid because you're like, you're just my friend. Why is it this serious? But it is serious
Oh, I've
because
had, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I can't even begin to tell you. But
Um,
like it is serious and they obviously mean something to you. So it shouldn't be that like if it was my romantic relationship, I would just, you know, it's easier to fight for that. It's easier to put yourself out there for that. But I don't think it should only be that we care about in that to that level. We should be able to put our energy into our platonic people as well. And that's why me personally, at least that first time, that's why I tried so hard with that friend to keep reaching out and like keep giving them the benefit of the doubt because I'm like, you know what? Like we have that bond and we it wasn't a daily friendship, so I wasn't expecting anything different and I knew what kind of person she was. But it's just like when the consistency of not showing up for me the way I needed her to show up for me, I was like, okay, now I need to let it go. But I personally do try at least to give them that. Here's the little olive branch. And if they disrespect me on that, then I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Oh,
I
that's
know. But you could also do the other thing and just, you know how she is, and that's done, and then you could focus on someone else who you want to kind of, you know, who can more align. But I think sometimes we lose out by not saying,
yeah,
you
see,
know?
yeah, it's so wise of you to say that. Yeah, because that's where I've had to learn. But that's like, why can't I be like a person who that makes me feel needy, number one.
I know.
I don't want to, I don't like, as like, once again, who I am, I'm such a freedom oriented person. So that's where I had a little strife with the previous friend that I'm going through. Like, we took like a little friend break
Hmm.
of, um, because of like expectations and just things just not, and I was had a feeling, I don't know, I guess I'm just still trying to navigate like honestly the whole friendship thing sometimes overwhelms me so much where I'm like, fuck it, I don't even want friends. Like
I know.
I'm already trying to deal with stuff my own self, and then on top of, like it's just it almost seems overwhelming sometimes to like
Yeah.
try. But it's just like, but I think that's just the sensitive part of me, and that is like the introvert part of me because I'm already like, oh my gosh, like I'm just overdrowned with, with feelings and
Yeah.
sensibilities, and why
Yeah.
does it have to be so hard? Why can't
Yeah.
I find a person who understands? We don't gotta say nothing. We just understand. You come fall in line.
Yeah, I know. I
I know
know.
that's not realistic, but like that's where I feel like it does take the effort and the understanding. And then yeah, you have to be vulnerable because then I'm gonna have to have this conversation with this girl. Like, well, I did say that I was okay, but actually, that's
Yeah, I
it.
know.
It's not even
It
that it's that long too. Like I hear you talk about how you can go months, and I can do that, but that means you won't be a close friend. Like,
yeah,
are you
yeah.
okay with that? Then okay, then. But just know I'm gonna then go find a close
A
friend.
closer friend,
So
yeah. Like it just depends on the person, honestly. But I don't know. I think it's just this time of adulthood where I know everyone has their shit. Like definitely not in high school. I couldn't go months without talking to people and think they're my close friends. Like that was crazy. But now that I'm 30 years old,
yeah.
I have to keep saying it
Why do
because
you
I'm
say
so
it like oh,
surprised.
30?
Because it's
It is kind of
crazy.
crazy. Oh yeah, I had to put myself in your eyes. Yeah, because I'm 29 and I know to not say 20 and then say 30. Yeah. Oh
It's
my
yeah,
God.
especially because I just turned 30,
Yeah,
so it
you
just
did.
feels so like but anyway, because I think I don't know, I could still remain close. It just depends on the comfort with people. Like I could talk to people about situations, closer situations to me, even though we don't talk every single day. But obviously, you feel the closest to the people you talk to more often because you're more connected to them, right? It just
Yeah,
depends. But like, let's say the people who I only communicate with on social media, based on whatever each other posts,
yeah,
I don't feel like we're close friends for sure because that's not a real aspect of my life.
yeah.
But my friend who I go hiking with, I would say, yeah, we're pretty close. Like I would
Mhm.
say she's still pretty much my best friend, my second best friend, because I feel that connection to her still, regardless of how long it's been. And when we do get together, it's like we're picking up where we left off. It doesn't feel like there's been this big distance between us. But I think that's also just based on us being more open and communicating with, and we've definitely had our fair share of crying over different stupid stuff that we didn't even need to go through. So I think it's just that connection that we've had, and we're able to like keep that bond, you know?
Got it. Yeah, yeah.
But feelings are hard. It's hard. It's really like me as well. I don't love to be vulnerable with people about these things. And that's why, for the most part, I try to brush my shoulders off about different things. And I just don't care so much. But I think if it affected me to the point where, like, this is weird. Like, especially like I said, it depends on the message too. So if it was something that I needed a response to, and you're deciding to respond whenever you want to, I'd be annoyed. Like,
Yeah,
this is something, time sensitive. Maybe this is something I actually needed to know about, not just. And when do you feel like it? Once a month? Once a year? Like,
yeah.
what's the time?
And
And
then
like,
why? Like, I
yeah.
think for you to work, like how you, I also don't, like, if I know people are going through it, all right, that's all I need to know. But if you're just, because for me, I'm like, I want people who are serious about the friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So are you just taking however long to respond because you don't really take it that seriously, and then
Yeah.
please don't have me waste my time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something I don't what like please don't do that. So it's like, or are you just going through stuff? And if you're going through stuff, then I mean I understand that not some people are private, but then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, why aren't we talking about it? So yeah, it just takes
It
understanding
takes the conversation.
and
I don't
take
I
the
don't want us to dwell so long, but I want to tell you one thing and just show you an example of people. I don't know if you've seen it as yet, but there is this friend group, and it's her friends posting a video. Basically, they're outside of her house singing "Girl" by Destiny's Child.
Mm,
You remember that song
yeah,
where,
of course.
yeah. Okay, I'm like, please tell me. Okay, so they're singing that song, like screaming it outside her house, and it's like the middle of the night, and she's inside her house, and she basically just had a baby. So it seems like she's going through postpartum, and she's like kind of brushing them off, but
Oh,
they know
oh,
their
that's gonna
friend.
make me cry.
Yeah, and
That's
so they're basically like going out of their way to like trying to communicate with her because they know that she needs them. And although she's trying to show like, no, leave me alone, like why are you guys here? And they like went in. There's like basically there's lots of clips, but basically they like get into her house, and she like locks herself in the closet, and they like get in, and then like they're helping her, and I guess they're saying she's doing better now. But in the comments, people were asking questions and stuff, and they said, honestly, if we need to show up every single
oh my gosh,
day,
why am I like
we
hearing
would show
this?
up. I honestly, it made me feel something too, because I'm thinking there's so many times where you need somebody like that, and sometimes you don't have the people. And like somebody was commenting on it and saying that because they're like, we're her friends, this is what we do because we're her friends, and they're like, you're her angels, like you guys are here for a reason in her life, and that's why you're here. And it's like, I just think like we just need to be understanding in general, but like just like people are going through their own battles, and sometimes
Yeah.
we don't know, even though we're their close friends. And I think just showing up and showing people that we still love them will mean so much more, and maybe that's what will help for them to get into, just in general.
Oh
I don't
my
know.
gosh,
Sorry.
what the heck? Oh my gosh, this is so good.
I'm
Why are we
sorry.
crying? This is just whole energy, but that is wow, so beautifully put.
I know. Uh,
Oh,
that's why I said this topic for me. I have so much on it just because I feel like I've learned so much through all the people, and like just like the coursework, the people, the actual like seeing, watching TV, reading books, and just learn so much about it. And as much as people would think it's such an easy topic, and it's nobody, it's so intricate and
yeah.
so interesting, and it just shows different people. I don't know. I just really enjoy talking about friendships and relationships, I guess, in general.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Wow. Yeah, because we haven't talked about relationship. We're gonna have the episode on relationship.
I know. That's a
As
whole
two
nother
people who've been
thing.
in long-term relationships.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. Wow. Okay, I think that's enough emotions for one
I
day.
know.
I didn't expect to get to go here, but I love this. This is exactly, I mean, what's an intimate talk without a little emotion, without emotions, vulnerability, exactly
Yeah.
what is needed in this world. Okay, wow, wow. Okay, so just like I said, I just want to round off everything. Everyone knows, okay, so go to shared experiences. First one is, do you want to go through it since you're the
No.
or you want me to just
Yeah,
relate?
yeah, go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. So yeah, the first thing is for when you're trying to find friends is shared experience, shared environment. So if you're lucky, if you're in school, that if you're at work and you're lucky enough to have people that you're actually compatible with, and then if you're an adult, like most of us, you do have to get out the house.
Yeah.
So like
Hmm.
going to like for me, I used to go to a yoga class, a yoga studio, and that's where I was like, that was the craziest thing because I was on my friendship journey of like, all right, I'm gonna get out more. What do I like to do? Because it's like, well, I want to be around people who like the same things as me. So going to a yoga studio, going to more like a metaphysical shop and going to more, doing women's circles that, because at the time I wasn't hosting them. But then I would get there. Okay, so now the second step, we gotta go and be assertive. We
A
gotta
little,
be
just a
assertive.
little.
Like
Put yourself
Renee,
out
we gotta
there.
go take their phones and put our numbers in there.
My friend's gonna die that I told this story.
That was the smooth. That was like, hey, everybody needs a Renee. Like Renee energy, that's what we gonna call it when we a little nervous, but we feel a connection to
Oh man.
somebody. So, all right, get our Renee energy on. We gonna go and we gonna just say something sweet or say hi. Cause it's just that. Like, and that's where my block was with trying to make friends. I'm like, all right, I'm putting myself out there. And yeah, I have like, and I'll see like a girl and she dresses nice or her energy seems good, but then I don't say anything. And so I'm left with like, oh, all right, like, that's next time we'll see. And then it's like, how the heck are you gonna make friends if you never, and some people may
Same
like
thing.
you, but they may be more shy. So then you have to be the one who makes the effort. Like you're so
Yeah.
right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe not say, hey, obviously, let me get your number. You never talk to them, but like say something like, hey, or hi, maybe saying hi, and then maybe saying, oh, I like your whatever, or say, well,
Yeah.
talk about something.
Something.
Yeah.
Something like compliments. Because you already had that shared experience, talk about the experience that you shared.
Yes.
There's so many different things. But
Yeah.
I think just that initial conversation
Yes. Well,
sometimes is
yeah.
is helpful to do the moving towards the
And
steps.
not the first time. I think after you probably went to the class or the event
Yeah, yeah,
multiple times, you've
yeah,
talked multiple times, and then you can everybody should be able to sense energy of like if this person initiates or if you're the one, that kind of thing. And then yeah, then if you feel like the person likes you enough or you can tell, then you may want to initiate like, hey, what do you say?
like
Hey, do you want to do something? No, I'm just kidding.
how
I
do
think
you even
naturally
know?
you'll probably be like, okay, there's an opening to where,
Yeah, there should be. I think once you're at this point, there is a reason why you're at this point. So there must be some sort of opening
yeah,
to get you to, communicate with them
yeah,
on a different level than what you're already at. So maybe, hey, if it's like a class, you want to grab a coffee after this, or
yeah,
like do you,
yeah,
just something where I
yeah.
think, but there's probably reasons why you got to that point. So I'm sure it will go over
Mm.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I imagine you? You know how they have like dating coaches who just be
Oh
around?
my gosh.
Like, you should be a friendship coach. All right, you say this. All right, now this.
I didn't
No
even
way.
think I was like that good at them. I'm just,
I mean, I think that's just your energy, I think you having that, I mean, that's the biggest thing, your energy, your aura, and let's all be like as understanding, but also have boundaries, obviously have self-respect, but be understanding and open and give without the expectation. Just be nice, be kind. I mean, that's
hmm
these
hmm
days. Um, so okay, wow. All right. Well, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So before I actually look, though, I do want to try to do a little like guess. But hold on, let me let me just input the time stuff first. It's not gonna come up. Oh, actually, sorry, let me share. Well,
Okay.
actually, no, I want to see your expression first. Wait. Okay, so all
Oh,
right.
for your guesses?
Okay, so
Okay.
I know that you're Sagittarius. Okay.
hmm
Um, oh, sorry. Oh, I was gonna say, oh, never mind. I was gonna tell people to guess on here, but I'm gonna put
Oh,
it in the title. I have two
okay. Okay,
other
okay.
people who have the same stuff in their chart to, come.
True. Okay.
Um, okay, so you're rising, rising, rising. So for me, you definitely feel like air, like there's some air I feel like has to be in your chart somewhere.
Okay.
But then you're beauty oriented. So then that makes me think of like something like either like Libra. I don't know. I feel like Libra energy for you. Also, a little bit thought of Leo because you take pictures and you're always like wanting to like share stuff. So I'm like
Okay.
that for you you definitely seem like you like the spotlight of some sort, or you're like, I mean, I just feel like you taking birthday pictures of yourself. It's literally Leo or Libra energy. I just feel like that for you. Um,
Okay.
so shoot. Okay, so when I look at you, yeah, let me think.
This is so fun because I don't know, my chart, for the most part, from what I know of it, I'm pretty sure it like tracks whenever I think of it. I'm like, wow, and like how I've read it and interpreted it, like this is very me. Wow, this makes sense. This is why I really do believe in this natal chart stuff.
Oh
So
no, it's so, I mean, astrology is realer than
it's
people realize it is. It
yeah,
sounds fluff, like it's not. I've lived this, and it's so deep and it's so crazy. It's so
yeah,
wild. But I think also like electricity is wild,
yeah. It's
Like I
true.
believe that there's waves that we can't see and we're supposed to be floating on a planet. That's the thing. It's like people want to talk about astrology and just like stuff. Oh, that's so wild, but you're telling me we're floating on the planet
It's
Earth and gravity some sort of such a
yeah, pulling us.
like
Yeah,
there's so many
it's
like
so
things
many
that's like wild.
energies.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
true.
but okay, so when I see you though, I feel like initially you may seem a little re I just feel like for you, you may seem a little bit like you seem like a little bit more calm
hmm
oriented when I see
hmm
you at first. Um, so I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I don't. Oh, shoot. It's hard because I want to say, okay, I want to say either Libra or Leo. I was gonna say even Aries, but I was gonna say no, not Aries outwardly. Okay, so I guess let me ask a question.
Okay.
So, would you say that you are more into like do you like to do stuff for yourself or do you like to do stuff for people?
My
Initially.
love initially, I'm pretty sure my love language to show love is acts of service.
Okay. Okay, oh never mind. Let me ask this. Do you like attention?
I would say I like attention, but I'm a little shy about it. Like I don't
Okay.
want like I do like it, but at the same time, like, oh guys, don't look at me. you know? Like
Don't
it's
look at me. Don't look at me. Don't.
yeah. It's
Okay.
a weird
Okay.
dynamic with me and attention, but ultimately I do like attention and positive affirmations and feedback.
Okay. And then lastly, are you an independent person or do you like to do things with other people?
I
Like, do you do best in partnerships or or you don't really like you could do things, you rather be an independent girly?
I think a little of both, but I think ultimately I do like partnerships just because it lightens the load.
God, that's difficult.
I know that I
Ah,
don't know if that one
no, it's
from what
okay.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. But that's what I've realized about myself that like I was telling you with the book page and stuff, it's nice for me to have that with other people because it's not just me. And I feel like part of my downfall on social media is I'm struggling by myself, you know? Like every time I see
oh,
other people with group pages and stuff, I'm like, dang, that would be so much better. Because at least if you're not able to show up, the other person is able to show up. So I think I actually do strive with other people more than I would completely alone.
okay. All right. Last question, if I can answer this for your rising. Was any of my risings right? Like my guesses? No? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so I'm just gonna say you do give me like when I first see you, if I don't talk to you, and I think it's hard because I know you ish, but also I haven't met you in person, so
Mm-hmm.
that may be a little thing. But I guess you do seem a little bit more like reserved is if I first see you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's so interesting. Ah, now I'm so like torn. Okay.
You're like in the realm ish
Like you definitely are more calm. What like your rising is more like okay. Okay, so I'm gonna say perhaps either an air sign rising or an earth sign rising.
okay. Okay.
That's not true. That's wrong too. That's
Do you
wrong.
want me to tell you or are you gonna look at
Ah!
it?
No, I'm just gonna guess. I'm just gonna guess. Okay, I'm just
Okay.
gonna say what comes to my mind.
Okay. Go ahead.
I'm thinking. I want to say honestly, okay, I want to say I don't know why, but I don't know. I want to say like frick. I want to say I don't know why I want to say Pisces.
For a rising?
No, maybe.
No. No, no, no.
No, I'm all off. Dang, I'm
You're really
off.
close.
You're
You're so close, but you're not getting it. You're so close.
okay. Let me move over to the moon then. Like,
Okay, go to moon.
which is hard also because that's your internal energy.
Yeah.
For me though, it seems like you definitely have to have air. You like to talk. You like to commute. You like the heck? Like you that has to be in there. If that's not, I'm gonna be surprised. Surprised. Um, I definitely feel your fire energy when you start talking. So I feel like either you are I don't know though, but then you do but there seems like an underlying sensitivity and you say you like depth to you as well. So then that makes you think of like you're either then you may have to have a water moon. I don't like your facial expressions.
I was like, I am dying for you to see this chart.
Can you
I
like just look at the chart already. All right, fine. I'll give you an overlining. Gosh, dang it. Okay,
you're
I'm gonna
really close, honestly, and it's kind of surprising, but also like, okay, I guess this is where we understand it. This thing makes sense because you're close on both of them. You're so close, and when you see it, I feel like you're
I know,
gonna, yeah.
I just know it's just okay. All right. So I'm just gonna say that the initial rising part of you, I'm gonna have to say that, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna say that it's It's maybe, it's maybe, I don't know. I'm just gonna say you're air rising and a water freaking moon. I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, okay, frick,
We're
guys.
gonna look at it now.
Okay, yeah, let's just look at it. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up. I'm usually so good at this, and now it makes me think like you have some other stuff in there. Feel like now because I don't know, you may have. I'm just throw something crazy out there and say you low key have Scorpio in your chart because there's that's not evil laugh. But then that would be so deceiving though because you seem like so open,
I know Scorpios are real
then
private,
there's
but it's when they're comfortable. Remember?
yeah, that is very true. That is very true, but that would be so, I don't know. What is your I'll just put R. Okay. And what's your date of birth again? I should know this and I will remember at some
It's
point.
okay. November 24th, 1994.
Okay. Time.
It is like 11:50 a.m.
Is that your exact time?
Yeah.
Okay, because if it's off by like one thing, it could be different.
No, I know. I I've known that for a while, like right
Okay,
before
okay, okay.
lunch, basically, yeah.
And that's you said that's what feels the line for you anyways. Okay. 11
And
oh,
Eastern time.
oh, Eastern time. Yeah, that's but AM.
AM, yeah.
Okay, and then place or city and
Uh,
state.
you can say Toronto.
Okay. Oh, I don't know why I did that in caps. Oh, Canada.
Hmm.
All right, so November 24th, 1994, 11:50 a.m., Toronto, Canada. I'm scared. I'm also pissed because I feel like you got some deceptive things. You're not who I think you are because I can't put my hand on it. So I feel like you're gonna have some mysterious stuff in here. You definitely have to have some water stuff because I usually can tell, but if there's a block, there's some like private parts of you where I'm like, okay, okay, let's just see. I'm scared. Oh wow! Wow! Oh!
This chart, the way you're looking at it is crazy. So I have my own, but
Wait,
yeah,
hold on.
whatever.
Wait, let me make sure. Oh, okay, yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. I use whole sign.
I don't think I've heard of this before.
That's the traditional. So most people have the modern. Where did you get your chart from?
Natal chart, Astro dot Cafe Astrology.
Oh, they may have. Okay, so there's a thing called so the traditional astrology is whole sign astrology, and then that's the traditional part of astrology, like the older parts. But then there's modern astrology, and it's different. The chart a little bit different, but not that big of a difference.
Okay,
Some
okay.
things may be a little, sometimes it could change a little few replacements. Does everything still look the same?
I can't even tell how this would
Oh,
from the
okay.
symbols that I can see. Like I think the Sagittarius, that's
I
my
knew you had
sun.
Scorpio on your chart. Sneaky. I knew you were Scorpio Venus. I knew it. Like how you were talking. I mean, first of all, the depth gave it away.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you seem to love hard, and then there's an attachment with the love that you could give to people.
Hmm.
Even how you were talking about your friendship. So I was like, oh, this is like deep, like, and I felt that. So wow, I mean, like, but I meant like more an intense.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay, okay,
So
okay.
that's the same on mine too. Scorpio Venus. That's the love one, right? Love
Yeah, Scorpio Venus. Yeah, that's your love language.
Mercury. That's communication.
Yep. Oh wow. Oh my goodness. Renee, I would not have guessed you to be so Scorpio heavy of a person.
I know, right?
What the frick?
So
Wow.
for you, what did it say my rising is?
Yeah, no, your rising is in Aquarius.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow, so I was right.
Air sign, yeah.
I was kind of all over the place. But oh wow. Oh, which makes so much sense. Oh, see, that's why I love seeing this. And I'm like, oh wow. Oh, but okay, okay. So let's talk. Let's get
And
to
what with my moon?
what oh, Virgo.
Oh, that's what it says for you, Virgo.
Yeah, what does it say for you?
Leo.
No, well, oh, that's probably yeah. See, let me make it traditional. It probably will be Leo in there. Hold on. See, Placidus is what you have, and that's the modern. Oh, actually, no, that doesn't show on here.
I see Placidus here, but
Yeah. Oh,
I don't know what this one is I see Virgo under eighth.
like are you looking at your Chiron
Now this is where it gets complex.
right here? This
Can you
thing.
still see me?
Yeah.
Uh, I see this.
No, I can't see that. Wait, I
And
will have to click off.
okay, that's okay.
It
Okay.
does it look like this?
Uh, mm, wait. No, I don't think that one's on here. I only see one
Oh,
that's
what do you
similar
see then? What is the wound?
Jupiter. I see Jupiter. Yeah, there's no symbol like that on here.
Also, what were you saying? You said, "Do I see your wound?" What is
Oh,
that?
on my moon on here, it just
Oh, you
says
said your
Leo.
moon. Oh, your moon. I thought you said your wound.
Oh.
Yeah, because wound is a thing. That's your Chiron.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
okay,
I see your
okay.
moon. Yes, I see your moon. That's in Leo. Which
Okay. Now that's being
I am not.
confused.
See, I knew you had to have some Leo in you. I knew it. Okay, that
Yeah,
makes sense. Oh,
okay.
that
For
makes sense as far as how you said you like the. I should have known with that because that's every Leo moon. They
yeah.
secretly like the attention, but then they don't want. It's like they don't want.
Yeah, I was trying to give you the hint. I'm like, I'm sure she knows what I mean by this.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, but I was thinking of more of your rising when I was talking like that. Okay. Okay,
Okay,
that makes
okay.
sense. That makes sense. Honestly, to be honest, I lied. I don't even know why I tried to make it seem like you're a water moon because you match my fire. Like you match my energy when we start talking. Anybody with fire energy, when they start talking, they're outward. They like, just an energy and you match that with me, which is why I like to have conversation with you because like when we're passionate about something, we'll like kind of really be talking about it rather than
Hmm.
sometimes with people who are watery, like they're not as assertive. Yeah, they don't have, it's a little bit not the same energy, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Okay, wow. All right. So Sagittarius sun, of course, it's in your 11th house, which makes so much sense. You being the group-oriented person, all about friends, community, makes so much sense. And it's Sagittarius, which is about people from different backgrounds, cultures. I mean, how on the nail could it be as far as you enjoying sociology and friendships? And that is like your core. So your sun sign is your vitality. It is what makes you feel your most confident and creative. And for you, you feel all of those when you are in groups and community with people who you can learn from and explore with and travel and who different from yeah, different backgrounds and everything and cultures. Like that is just right on it. That is like how you recharge. So
Yeah.
yeah, you feel the most alive when you're in that and like yourself. Um,
Hmm.
and then you're probably the one that's teaching your friends too, because Sagittarius energy is like they typically like the higher level of them because they like usually go through their life like learning through experiences or like going to classes or courses or reading. And so they like gather or explore and venture out to learn so much and through people and they're traveling. And then as sometimes as they get older, they can be like they can they're really good teachers of some sort. You even see a lot of like spiritual leaders or like even like pastors or just major
Yes.
people who have like high leadership is usually Sagittarius that have Sagittarius energy, which makes sense for you. So that's so cool. Okay. And then we go to your rising. So yeah, your rising is Aquarius. So for you, like that's another community. Oh my gosh, your whole life. So yeah, your rising is like your path in life. Like what are the things that the themes you're gonna be like going through that's gonna keep you on your path? And that is community. That is the collective. That's service work, but helping the community through like shared ideas. Use something with tech, maybe social media. Um,
Mm,
and innovation of some sort. You definitely like the idea of doing something different or thinking differently to bring some sort of change within people in your life or on a bigger scale. So that's so cool. And then I like to see where in your life you're gonna be like diverting a lot of this Aquarius energy. And I had to go to where you have, where's your Saturn? Oh, that's in your second house. Wow. All right. So it shows that for you, you're going to be kind of exploring a lot of your life path through like your values, how you make your money. But in that way, it sort of shows you're bringing the Aquarius energy, that I just kind of explained, and your life paths have to do with like you making money through those things that I said.
mm, mhm,
Um, but then your second house, which is how you make your money, is ruled by Pisces, and that is very like things that are creative, things that are like your it's you provide, I don't know if you would say call yourself a spiritual person, but it does show like some sort of like spiritual gifts or or spirituality in some sort or connection. Usually Pisces energy likes like vulnerability and intimacy and like to be able to
mm,
like create an outer worldly like just creative creativity in some sort. So it just shows that
mhm.
you're doing something creative um
Yeah,
that could be helpful and healing to others in some way is how you will make your money.
that's crazy because it feels like that aligns perfectly with what I want to do. So it just shows me that I need to like continuing on that path to like achieve those goals because that's exactly how I want my life to align. That I did not know that was in my chart. So that's wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Astrology is cool.
Hmm.
And then we get to your moon, which is in
Yes.
that Leo, which is another creative. I mean, you're just a full of creative energy and then community. So you should definitely be online in some way. Which we'll talk about the Libra because I see the Libra stuff. Okay, but which Libra is more about collaborating, and you're saying like doing things with other people, which makes sense with the Aquarius too, and so that
Wow.
a lot of
That's
sense.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
But then we go to your moon sign, which is all okay. Well, first, let's just say it's in like I said, Leo, which is all about creative expression. It's about like inner child stuff for you. So for you, you probably like to like we feel really a lot of fulfillment or self-care through like doing the things that you used to like to do as a child, perhaps,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or connecting with children or childlike energy for you. It just that really like meets your.
Yes, it is for sure.
What do you have an example?
Yes. Well, I I always say that I'm just a child at heart, so I always
Yeah.
enjoy doing childlike things. But like an example of me as an adult, like I have a lot of nieces, nephews, godchildren, but my best friend has two kids, son and a daughter. But like when she had her daughter, like her daughter, like I don't know, kids just are drawn to me and I'm drawn to them. So she always says I'm the baby whisperer. Like even kids that don't really know me, like they are always like feeling comfortable around me. So I feel like that kind of ties into the chart as well, which I didn't know, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I've always just I love kids and love to be a big kid too. So all those things is true about me.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's fulfilling because your moon is your internal needs. I mean, I don't know if how often you watch my videos, but yeah, your moon represents like what you need to feel like nurtured, secure, safe. and it's
Yes.
your self-care. So yeah, so for you, yeah, that's so true. And then also like having fun too, and just in doing things that you enjoy. I feel like any type of Leo energy, you need to, if you have any of that in your chart, you need to be doing the things that you love. Which
Hmm.
which let me just say though, it's opposite. You have opposing energies, meaning your rising is Aquarius, which is opposite from Leo. So for you,
Mm.
sometimes when anybody has opposing things, you may feel like pulled in different directions at different times. Sometimes a little conflicted between like doing like community and what the community wants, or what do you want to do for the others through like what you want to do for yourself.
That's crazy. That's okay. For that one friend, this one friendship group, basically, or okay, I had two friendship groups. One when I was younger, and I didn't like the idea. Like I enjoy following in a way, but I also don't want to feel like I'm following, if that makes sense. So I lived through that and it was kind of terrible. And then I ended up in a friendship group of four girls. And part of the reason why I had to kind of disconnect myself from them is because it started to feel more like a dictatorship where the one person was kind of leading everyone and everyone's kind of blindly going. And I didn't feel like going anymore. So I just like, distanced myself from the friendship as a whole. And I remember it caused a rift. And at the time, because I was early 20s at that time, so I didn't really know how to communicate my feelings at that time about that. So I just like ghosted them basically. We had group chats on every app, and I just exited every single group chat instead of saying, "Hey guys, I just feel blah 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 blah." So I remember years later, I finally could communicate a little bit about what I was feeling, and it was obviously a hard conversation because as the other side, like I said, what you do affects other people. We can't always just think of ourselves. So obviously me leaving like that was obviously going to affect them, and I didn't think of that at the time. But just so interesting because I liked the group. I do like groups, but I also couldn't stay in a place where I felt like the group was like taking over myself. Like I didn't want them to take over my own energy, and I had to disassociate to be able to choose me. And and then sorry, I know this is long, but
No, you're fine.
basically I say that to say that still to this day, I'm not that with them anymore. And sometimes I could see the group stuff still going on, obviously, because me leaving didn't mean they're not going to be friends. And I'm like, wow, like I remember the days, but also I had to be myself. I had to do what I
Yes.
needed to do for me.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's such a weird thing how my chart just shows how of a like hard spot I'm in sometimes to be navigating those two worlds at the same time.
Yeah. So it's also
Crazy.
about balance, and you did the right thing. Because you do need to be able to do what you want to do, to fulfill your internal needs, and also still like, balance that with doing things with others. Um,
Hmm.
and like having your own things going for yourself. That's for any time you do anything where they're collaborating, making sure that you still like have your own things, where
Hmm.
you're getting the attention that you need, because that's another thing with working with groups is like with Aquarius energy, there is no single person that has the most attention. Everybody has the same amount of attention. But yeah, there's a part of you for that, but then there's a part of you that wants your own stuff, and to have to have your attention with that. You do want to stick out a little bit. So
Hmm.
that having your own thing whenever you do anything is just important.
Hmm.
And then also dating and romance is something for that aligns with Leo too. So you probably really like going on dates or like doing romantic things. And then Leo's like very, let's just call it like it is, like sex drive is very so that's another thing. But it's like, yeah, it's like playful. And you like to keep that like within your relationship, probably very like fun and like
Yeah,
childlike and like that kind of like energy, joy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Right.
say yeah, for sure for that. We
Yeah.
still play games. I told you he's playing games
Mhm.
now, and to I guess it's partly to relate, but also just for us to enjoy each other's company. We'll play, there's a couple games that we'll play together, and we activities are always fun. For my
Hmm.
birthday, I was telling you, he did the rock climbing thing, and I wish I could do it, but like this, like that childlike thing. And I think
Yeah.
he's also a child in himself sometimes. So it's like really nice to connect on that level as well. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then going to it, so your moon sign is in the seventh house, and the seventh house has to do with relationships, partnerships.
Mm,
So for you, that just shows that you feel internally the best when you are doing things with another person.
wow.
So
Wow, okay.
yeah, so
This
that takes
chart's
both.
reading me
I know,
to
yeah,
fill.
it is. I
Like, what the heck?
know. That's so funny. That's so funny. Especially knowing all that Scorpio part of you. But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that is
dang.
true. Like you that accept that about yourself. That's totally okay. I mean, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. You're like, I don't know.
I know. I try to not associate with some of this stuff, but the
Oh
fact that
wow, you said
it knows me, so it's
yeah.
me. It is.
Yeah,
I
it's
can see
okay.
the
As a
examples.
trade-off, at some point, I'll let you look at my chart. Only because we were like friends, friends. But I
Okay.
don't even know if it'll make sense to you though. I mean, maybe, I guess you, I mean,
Well, if I look at it the other way, but this way, I'm confused.
okay, that's fine. That's okay. Um, so yeah, but then you have a thing called Mars in there too. Um, which is usually like about like uh it has to do with like your drive and your desire to do something and your motivation. So you're probably really motivated through like creative projects, like once again, or doing something or like love. Like you also really love love. That's another thing with Leo.
Yes.
You love to receive, but you also are really good at giving for you,
Yes. Yeah.
and you just have this light because Leo is so pure. You hear a lot of people say like Leo are the attention seekers. It's not really that they're trying, they're literally every astrology sign has a planet ruler, and the
Mm-hmm.
planet that rules Leo is the sun. They're literally light.
Oh.
They're literally meant to be those standout people through them
Mm-hmm.
being confident. That's another Leo energy is like they're natural born leaders and they're confident and they do like to be like shine their light on people, but they're meant to shine their lights and be themselves to inspire other people to be themselves.
Oh.
That's why you see a lot of Leo famous people who are Leos because they have the confidence to put themselves out there. And they're being great and creative and they're just, it looks like they're like putting themselves to get attention, but it's also I mean, you see like just any celebrities, they inspire other people to be them to do that too. Who if
Mm-hmm.
so and it is by them standing out. So that's just important. And so you also with the moon in the seventh house, you probably also really are good at picking up on what like your partner needs or any close friends too. That's a big thing of like having an intuition to know like how to fulfill the needs of
I
people
feel
that
like it.
you have
Yeah.
partnerships with.
I feel like that related to all the things I was saying and how I navigate the friendships and stuff, like
Mm.
having the foresight to know, okay, this person's doing this, and just like understanding them on a, even without speaking, sometimes just understanding them. So that's so interesting. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Also just have to sometimes also be careful because with the Mars in there, there does show some sort of sometimes challenge with the one-to-one relationships. It doesn't always have to be romantic, but it could be sometimes with romantic or just like
Mm-hmm.
any best friends or partnerships. And that just shows like sometimes with the Leo, the other parts of Leo, I've said a lot of great parts, but a lot of other parts of Leo,
Mm-hmm.
they can be the lion and they can roar when they don't get their way kind of thing. So maybe like, um maybe when you're not feeling like you're getting them enough attention maybe that you want or the love that you want, then you can be like also like dramatic about it. Like in some way.
100%.
Yeah, okay, okay. I was trying to put that in the
You
sweet
don't
bit.
have to. I know
Okay.
where you're going with this. And I'm sure my friends and family could tell you that. So yeah, that is true.
Yeah, yeah. A little bit of diva energy there, but it's okay.
hmm
It's okay.
Pretty sure my mom's nickname for me is Drama Queen.
Oh yeah,
So
yep, that would be perfect. But at the same time, Leo's are usually the natural Leo energy is really good at being a performative too. Which is
yeah,
probably also that makes so much sense to why on your birthdays you do like to dress up because you're like turning into like a different, not a different,
yeah,
person, but kind of like they like dressing up and they like to like
yeah. I feel like my social media is kind of my Leo coming out.
uh-huh,
So it's not like
yep,
I am my Sagittarius self. I am my introspective self.
mhm,
And I love learning and teaching and all that stuff. I think I do kind of show that as well. But like the performative aspect of social media in general, I think that's me. That's where my Leo thrives. And that's why I remember I won't go through the whole story, but just my sister's situation, right? And I remember her first asking for my social media and she saw it and she's like, oh my God, like she's like an influencer or something. I'm like, first of all, I'm not that serious online, but it's like it was such a, I think, difference for her to meet me in person and then see me online and just not, just like it's a lot. But I'd say that's like an alter ego, and I would say it's probably my moon sign that takes over some of
mhm,
those social media decisions.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely. And they're connected too because, well, this, I mean, I can tell you it's a little more astrology advanced, but once again, like I told you, the sun rules Leo.
hmm
So then we look at where's the sun in your chart, and then those areas will have connection, and that's your 11th house. So yeah, they have.
Oh, it's connected to my Sagittarius.
Yeah, it's because you're the ruler of your moon. I mean, the ruler
hmm
of Leo, which is, and that is connected, is literally the ruler is the sun, and it's literally your 11th house. So that means shows a connection between those.
That's so cool.
So yes.
Okay, I'll
Like,
say one thing before you move forward. Is it is it not weird as well? So my name is Renee, and I don't know if anyone knows anything about French, but Renee is a French name, but it actually translates to rebirth.
oh,
And the rebirth, the sun's symbol is also rebirth based on like the sun going up and down and like it's like a new rebirth. So like that's why my social media name became Renee Soleil because Soleil in French is sun, and I wanted to kind of combine that aspect of myself. So it's interesting to see my chart now and realize that the sun rules Leo, which is my moon sign, but it's also connected now to my sun sign.
yes.
And it's like, I don't know, my mom didn't know any of this when she was giving birth to
Yes.
me, but like it also connects to me as like an individual.
Yes.
Renee, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That makes
Yeah.
so much sense. Wow, that's so deep. It also makes sense for you because another thing I didn't say about Sagittarius is they also like they're here to explore. Oh, well, there's so many things. Sorry. I skipped over Sagittarius very much so, but I'm gonna go back into it. Well, first off, they're really here to learn like the bigger meaning of life. I don't know, like they're really into philosophy,
Mm-hmm.
astrology, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
spirituality too. Even religious, you see a lot of religious people, but it's either religion or spirituality or something. They just want to know the truth. They're the truth seekers, so they want to know the truth to life outside of what they have been told. And that's usually through their explorations or their learning and everything like that. So it's always like searching for the biggest meaning, trying to grow. They're very growth oriented as well. Um, and I was gonna say usually are really fun, like fun people who like to have a good time, which you probably are double that because you have that Leo and then that Sag. You just are a good time, which makes sense why you are able to attract so many friends. And because it's very like lighthearted and you don't take life too seriously. That's another thing with like Sagittarius energy. And funny. Like Sagittarius people are funny. You see a lot of comedians with Sagittarius energy. Um, because they're usually funny or they like funny people or like stuff like that.
Hmm. This is so like eye-opening,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I could see it in my real life play out. I'm like, this is wow.
Mm-hmm.
This is so complex. I love it.
And then the last thing I'll say about Sagittarius is because Sagittarius, there's so much. Sorry, I mean, I can talk about one sign for hours, but I try to condense it, which is why I'm talking fast because I just want to keep
It's
focused.
okay.
But another thing about Sagittarius energy is what was I gonna say? Break. Did I lose it? They're ruled by the sign of Jupiter. Jupiter is
Oh
all
yes.
about luck, abundance. So for you, you are congratulations, you're God's great favorite, as what people like to say, quote unquote. Not really, obviously, but you definitely have, if you probably know, like whatever you put your mind to, you just have really good luck in getting. And that's partly because of your ability to be optimistic, one, and to be flexible and to be open to new experiences. So whenever it's literally a life is about like what you put out is what you get. That is the biggest thing. And Sagittarius is really, really good at that's just their natural energy. They're very much of a yes person, rarely a no. They're always like, we'll see, let's try it. Or they're able to be adapt and be flexible, which obviously, hello, gives you opportunity to have good things come to you if you're always open to new experiences. So
Wow.
you feel that?
Mm-hmm. Wow. This is a great time for you to do this with me, by the way. It's just pushing me to keep going as
Yeah.
well. So,
Yeah.
sometimes we get discouraged with you trying to put your energy out there and it's not getting received the right way. But this just shows that the stars are aligned for me. So just keep going and
Yes.
don't worry about that outside noise.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Actually, you're supposed to push past the outside noise with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You're not supposed to do the traditional route or whatever the heck that's not.
Yeah.
You're supposed to push past that. But community is a big thing for you. So aligning to people and putting yourself out there on social media because sign is literally anytime you have an 11 anything in your 11th house also that's tied to social media. We're talking about groups community, but not just in person but online too. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like anybody who has that should anything in their 11th house should be on social media. But also fun fact about me, I have a loaded 11th house, which is why I usually do well there and I'm not able to. So anyway, it's just a good thing for that. So that's another thing. But the other part of Sagittarius is because they're super optimistic and like lighthearted and joyful, want to just enjoy. Sometimes they can not like the not so fun parts of life. And
Mm-hmm.
they can kind of not pay attention to like the real like stuff and just try to overshadow it with optimism and not pay attention to it. And then sometimes not to say you obviously I always give this to anybody who I'm giving Sagittarius energy is to you have to be careful of like how you hear a lot of comedians like are usually like actually not doing well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
no one knows that, it's because they put on this like happy face and they love to make others happy, but they don't want to look at the not fun part of like mental health or like challenges or whatever, so you
Mm-hmm.
have to like be conscious of like not trying to just drown yourself in the good times where you don't want to look at the not so happy stuff.
Yeah.
um
Yeah.
yeah, so sorry to get a little, but that is important
No,
to like know. And then yeah, but although you don't seem to be super foreign about that I mean that
no,
doesn't seem foreign to you with all that Scorpio energy. Honestly, you probably yeah, and that's another thing. So going to that, we have to talk about that. You have a lot of stuff in there, but it's in your 10th house, which has to do with your career.
Hmm.
You have a loaded carear, like stuff.
Look, yeah, I see the 10th. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it shows that your career has anytime you have a lot of stuff in an area, there's a that is a very big theme in your life. Um So for me, I would say that Scorpio energy is all about transformation. It's about death and rebirth. It's about mental health. It's about often the stuff that people don't like to see, but it's the deep stuff. Uh,
Hmm.
and you are actually supposed to do some work related to that. Does that you have like
Really?
an alternate personality that I don't know about?
Is that like if I were going into what's it called? Like psychology originally and
Yes,
then like stuff like that. Okay.
yes,
That's
yes,
interesting. That
yes,
it really is a passion, was a passion, but then I moved forward just because I didn't know about the me and the tradition of school. So I am trying to relate it more like on social media, and that's why like I just have so much ideas, so many ideas and so many things that I think I can share and help with people. So I feel like I could still get that like get that energy, but to the masses in a different way. So
yes.
that's why I feel like that's where I need to go. But yeah, that's interesting. A lot of deepness, and I feel like maybe that's just showing me because I a little just okay, small when you were kind of transitioning your page from hair into more of your likes now spirituality. I remember when I first like had the idea of being on YouTube or opening up my social media and stuff like that. I was thinking I thought niching and hair was probably my thing, but realizing now that we're all so much more than that one thing, and I don't want to stay there. And that's probably why I'm having trouble because I want to be more transparent. And I think that's what's going to help people. But it's hard when you have nobody in quotations. Like there's obviously people, but not the masses don't know who I am. But I feel like once I get the click, then I'll be able to like get through that part of my chart. Like I'll probably have everything align more perfectly. And
Mhm.
it's going to show that I need to just be more open, more deep. And maybe now my ideas for videos need to be more open and deep.
Yes, yeah, definitely depth and like just being vulnerable. That is a big thing. But there's a fear that's the biggest fear of like any Scorpio energy is like being vulnerable because they don't want to. I mean, they're also very private too. It just
Mm-hmm.
shows that's another thing, and that's why I always say, see, the thing is, well, but then that's difficult because I was gonna say like with 10th house and Scorpio, it's either people who. I mean, it can go a range of things. You can be doing like more, like you don't always have to put yourself out there in a way. You know, a lot of Scorpio energy likes to work behind the scenes. They're really good detect, like getting like detail oriented, very like can see the things. Especially you have Mercury in Scorpio. You
Mm-hmm.
probably are a really good detective where you can underlock them secrets. And it's almost like, okay, I'm just upset because I don't know why the freak I keep getting. Like, I'm so Scorpio energy is just tied to me. And sometimes I don't know, it's just a lot sometimes. I like it doesn't always seem like a lot. And you know, I can tell you this, and this is interesting because like I said, I'm still shocked, but not shocked. Because usually you don't expect a lot of Scorpio people's energy unless they're
Mm-hmm.
out, unless they have like a Scorpio rising or a sun. You could just tell because they're naturally like
Mm-hmm.
private and more introspective. I should have known that you had Scorpio because you said introspective, and that's very much a Scorpio quality.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you are a little different because that's like you're more of this outer person, but there's more depth to you than people realize. And it's
Mm-hmm.
very private, but it's like, but it's almost like that's why I said deceiving, because it's like, oh, y'all think I'm just this, woo, but I'll be seeing, y'all don't even know.
It's true.
But so there's this all this, and then you have the Venus part, which that can be a whole nother thing. We don't need to put all your stuff out there, and obviously cut out whatever you want me to cut out.